Welcome back everyone to Pontos Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 9, Episode 1 of Eldritch Horror, and we're playing Eldritch Horror Forsaken Lore Expansion. So we're going to do a combo here of the setup and turn 1. So let's jump right in. Quick shout out to August Moldenhauer's Cat 2 Journals out of Lovecraft's Providence. We've got a sister channel, Pontos Fathom Press, Genealogy of Cthulhu, Archaeology of Yog-Sothoth, Psychoanalysis of Vrilya. These are great. If you haven't checked these out yet, you're a Eldritch Horror fan, really appreciate you guys to go do that. There's a bookstore link below. I've got the Mythos deck already sorted out here. Just have to shuffle it up. Did the by the color chart of Great Old One Yig, and you see there's the Mythos chart. We just followed those. So I'll shuffle each section. I didn't really look at the what each of the cards are, so don't go and pause the screen and look at those shots. I didn't pay attention to which cards are which, just dealt them out of the shuffled deck. We'll put these together for stage 1, 2, and 3. We've got all the other cards out there, and we'll set up the board and we'll put our characters that have been selected. All of the cards that we've stacked in the top shuffled already and thematic to the Forgotten Lore icon. So basically we've used cards that are from the Forgotten Lore, shuffled those, put them to the top of the decks, and then just to fill out the decks we've put cards from the basic game. We're going old school in this one. We're going to go back to the sort of the core game with just the Forsaken Lore expansion. So in a way, think of this as if we're playing back when Forsaken Lore first came out. We just had the core rules, Forsaken Lore, and for this reason, we're not going to use the backstories of the characters, but we're not going to be that old school. We will continue to use the focus tokens, the resource tokens. We got the monster bag set up and the clue bag set up. So let's jump right into it. First off, our top expedition, we're going to put that on. That looks like Heart of Africa. We're going to deal out, we're going to shuffle these asset cards and we'll deal out reserve. And as you guys can see here also, the reserves are using the thematic cards. So that's awesome. And then we will put our gate tokens on the board as well. And I'm just going to shuffle these up a bit. Okay, and we'll spawn our first gate. Istanbul. And we'll also be playing with the characters. So let's start out with our characters. We've got, first off, Silas Marsh, the sailor. He starts off in Sydney, Australia. Here's Silas. Silas Marsh, the sailor, starts off in Sydney. Let's read his backstory. He starts out with the fishing net asset. So he's got a fishing net. Here's his backstory. Even as a child in Innismouth, Silas had a special connection to the sea. He's an able and well-reasoned man on land, but on the ocean he possesses a singular strength and wit. It's earned him a sterling reputation in every port across the globe, especially in Sydney, where Silas set ashore last night. But this morning, the smell of the brawny air carries dread as well as joy. There's something in his past, something in Innismouth, that he knows will someday catch up to him. So he'll start out with his fishing net. We'll get him set up with his tokens, and we'll jump into the other characters. Next up, we've got Mark Harrington. Mark Harrington, the soldier. He starts out with the .38 revolver and kerosene. Let's read Mark's story. During the war, Mark witnessed horrors he could not explain. and he wrote of what he saw in his letters to his beloved wife Sophie. When Mark returned home, he discovered that Sophie was no longer human. Well, yikes. One of the beasts that Mark had seen overseas had taken her body, killing her in the process. Afterward, Mark's thirst for vengeance led him to Helsinki, where some of these creatures had posed as German soldiers during the Great War. Mark starts off in Northern Europe on Space 14, Helsinki. So we'll put his character token in there. He's up in Helsinki. And lastly, we've got, and I mentioned his tokens. We will also get his strength and we'll get his strength and sanity as well as Silas Marsh's. And lastly, our character is third character and leader of the party. We'll make this the first person then, just to make it clear. Leader of our combo here, Akachi Onyele. Starts off with the Mist of Rillier spell and a clue. We'll grab the clue token out of the bag. Let's read the backstory. As a young girl in Nigeria, Akachi stayed apart from other children, preferring the company of imaginary friends. Her elders feared madness, but the village Dibia believed that she had been chosen by the gods. The wise old man taught her how to travel between worlds and how to marshal spirits. Now she has become a wise leader herself, traveling across Africa and teaching others to protect themselves. She's recently lived in Cape Town, and from here she'll track down the dark forces that ultimately threaten humanity. Okay, so she will be our lead investigator. She gets a clue, so let's grab her a clue, and I'm going to try to fish one out that's not a one that we need to use. Here, Snowy Mountains. No, it's from a sideboard, so we'll give her that clue. She also have Mists of Rillier. Or Rella. Mists of Rella. She gets 5 and 7 for her attributes. And I believe we're ready to jump into turn 1. Let's Yig has got a little intro text here. It says, many know that Yig's punishments for those whom harm his progeny is a terrible curse, but few know that long ago the serpent people betrayed Yig and suffered his wrath. Now the survivors return, eager to conquer for their true master. Wow, the father of serpents, Yig. You can see him there in all his splendor, commanding the serpents. So this will be a serpentine adventure. We got the omen track set. We'll get our dice on the board. This is turn 1. And we will place the doom track on 10. And let's jump into it. So, beginning of the turn. We've got a monster on Istanbul. So let's put a monster token there. And we need to put 2 clue tokens on the board. So we got a cultist in Istanbul. And we need to put 2 more clue tokens on the board. And we can start. So the clue tokens we get are 14. Okay. That's good luck. And the Amazon. All right. So let's jump into it. First off is our leader. She starts out in South Africa. 15. So let's have her move up to the expedition. She will move up, and we can have her also take a look at the top 2 gates in the gate stack. She can look at the top gate as an action. So, and when you close a gate during an otherworld encounter, she may move to any space containing a clue or a gate. So she can teleport to gates or clues. So this is pretty powerful. So maybe we'll have her go close the gate, but first of all, we'll have her do the active expedition. So she's here. One thing that might help her is maybe a ship token. Let's give her a ship token. And from there, she will go move one up to the Heart of Africa for her movement, for her action. Next, we'll move down to Silas Marsh, the sailor. Let's see, where can he head to? Well, since he's a sailor, let's have him also grab a ship token. What can he do as a power? Move one space along a ship path, then perform an additional action. Oh, and if he's on a sea space, he can roll additional die when resolving tests. Okay, great. So let's have him grab a ship token as an action. One. And then he can move to a sea token, but then he can do an additional action. He doesn't need to count that as a move, so he can move one more to the ship path, and he'll end up in South Africa. So he's going to sail across, and maybe we'll have him go get this clue in the Amazon. Okay, and then finally we've got Mark Harrington, the soldier. Mark is going to straighten this out a bit. Mark is going to start out with his revolver and his kerosene. Mark starts out here in Helsinki. We'll have him we'll have him grab a train token, and we'll have him grab a focus token, and then he'll just go right for the clue that's in that space. And that should be a good start. So let's move into the encounters phase. Okay, encounters phase, we start out with Akachi Onyele. She is going to encounter the expedition in the Heart of Africa. So here she goes. Oh, one thing we have to do is we have to pull out the active mystery. So let's also, before we read her encounter, let's just grab the active mystery. And the active mystery here will be Migration of Serpents. With no seeming regard for climate or terrain, snakes have been seen all over the world, without writhing towards some unknown common goal. When this card enters play, move each clue on the game board to the nearest expedition space. Whoa. Okay, so each clue on the game board moves into the nearest expedition space. Okay, well, if that's the case, let's have him not get this focus token, and instead he will move to this gate. Right? Let's have him go encounter that gate. And so he will use his train ticket. He doesn't get the focus token, and he will move there instead. So I think that might be the better action. So she'll go after these tokens, and maybe he'll come up and do a research encounter next round as well. Okay. Akachi Onyele, she's going to go first, doing her Heart of Africa expedition encounter. In the part of the jungle avoided by all the local tribes, you find a stone covered with strange dot patterns. You attempt to identify the origin of the shard and interpret the meaning of the patterns. So she has to roll her lore -1. And she fails. Your failure hurts your reputation among your peers. Discard all improvements. Soon a rival expedition tries to steal the fragment. Let's have her do a test. Rival expedition tries to steal the fragment. She fails. If you fail, they leave you wounded. She loses 2 health. Okay, so she fails her first encounter mission. But let's go on to our next character. She loses 2 health. But all is not lost. We'll make it up in the next round. So Silas Marsh the Sailor, just going to do a normal encounter down below. It is a thematic encounter, so it is from the Forsaken lore. And he's on a city. It says, a night watchman tells you that a crate of weapons has gone missing from his warehouse. You offer some money to learn more. He offers some money to learn more. And let's see how he does. Pass. If you pass, he sends you to the alley. You gain one random weapon asset from the deck. Gain one random weapon asset from the deck. And he gets tear gas. You may discard this card and reroll up to 2 dice when resolving a strength test in combat. And also reduce the monster's damage by 2 to a minimum of 1. So he gets the tear gas as an extra weapon. And that's going to wrap it up for his turn. And then lastly, we have Mark Harrington, the soldier, against the cultist. So first off, he's got his mind check. And Mark's got some great will, so he'll roll his mind check. He passes. Next, he'll pass his strength test. One thing about the cultist of Yig is if you lose the health, if you lose health from the strength test, you are poisoned and you gain a poison condition. So the snake bites are poisonous. So just be clear there. He'll get +2 from his 38 revolver. So let's go ahead and have him roll. He just needs a 1 and 2 to beat it. So 1, 2, 3. Passes and kills the cultist. Let's have him go and do a encounter through the porthole. Again, thematic portal encounter into the past. So you can see we've got the Forsaken lore. Through the shifting sands of the desert, you spot a deranged looking man. You try to follow him, but he abruptly disappears. You search the windswept landscape for any signs of him. Okay, so Mark, do your best. And he fails. You wander unrelenting heat in the desert, forcing yourself to keep going. Again, one more test. If you pass, you eventually find objects in the sand. Gain 1 artifact. So he gains an artifact, and he gains the this amazing card. It's called Seek the Truth. So we got an artifact card here. Oh, that's an artifact card. It's an asset card. That's why it seems weird. Let me go to the artifact cards and make sure there's no asset cards in them. Oh, yeah, there's a couple of assets mixed in here. Sorry. Okay, and let's go in and see. Let me pull out the themed ones as well. Okay, these two themed. I'm just going to put the themed ones at the top of the deck, and then we can go through it like that. I'll shuffle the themed ones. Okay, so these are the themed cards. And we pick one, and we get this one. The Cursed Sphere. Gain +2 to all skill rolls. Okay, but it has a reckoning, so just to let him know that that's there. Okay. So great. We don't close the gate, but he passes the test, so not all is lost. And now we move on to the Mythos Phase. So our first Mythos card for turn 1. And we get the Tainted Rations. So first off, we are going to advance the Active Mystery. The gate is green, so no. We'll do a Monster Surge. So Monster Surge will hit the open gate for 2 monsters. And I'll reach in here, grab 2. I knocked that over, sorry. And we get 2 cultists. Wow, the cultists are really spawning. So we got 2 cultists for Mark there to encounter. And lastly, there is in our Mythos card, spawn clues. So we'll spawn 2 clues. One's on the pyramids, and Uthor will take out, and 1 more. One's in San Francisco. Okay, we got clues spawned, and now we read the last leg of the Mythos card, which is you've been surrounded by corruption for so long it has permeated everything you touch. Somehow all of your food supplies have gone rancid overnight. Each investigator loses 3 health unless he gains a poison condition. Well, there's a poison theme, but let's just lose the 3 health. Everyone can heal up next round. And that is going to do it for our setup turn 1 of Season 9. Thank you guys for watching. We got the Migration of Serpents open. We'll see you in turn 2. And check out our links below, as usual. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.